Hello and welcome to another video. Well, we are inside our series and we are making a whole CI/CD pipeline, a major project, and we have already covered till step 5. So let me show you actually. Yeah, we are we have created our IAM user and we have created the project. We had that in our GitHub repository. EC2 instance, we also have created this one. GitHub is there. And now in this video, we are covering this part and maybe this one as well. Depends on the mood. So it's currently, what is it like? Uh, Currently around 12 a.m. So let's see how long this will go and then we'll take a decision that to go ahead with these or not. All right. So now we are starting with code artifact. So what is a code artifact? Well, code artifact is actually it helps to manage our dependencies. So for example, if we are using a Next.js project, right, we are using that in our project, and with Next.js, or even if you are using a React.js or any Java or any project, you cannot just create everything from that specific technology. You need to download various packages along with these as well, so that actually becomes a dependency for your project. And sometimes there a situation is there. For example, you have hosted your website and now you have many dependencies. If you have a complex project, for example in e-commerce, you have n number of dependencies, and tomorrow something arrive, like some situation in which one of those dependencies just the managers or the owners of that repository or the dependency, they had to shut down, or there is some server error from their side. So what happens is you are using those dependencies, so you are dependent on that. So your project will also be affected if their services are not great. If they are they have like some attack happens to them, like a cyber attack, or they just eventually got shut down, it affects your project. And if you have an um, regularly like a big e-commerce, a famous one, then it will be a lot worse effect for you. So to handle these things, we have this feature called as a tool called as a code artifact, which actually not only handles that, it manages them very effectively. It creates a copy of those dependencies, and not one copy, multiple copies. So if you don't have the immediate access to those dependencies, it go ahead and go to the store, its store, and then get those dependencies from there. So your project won't don't get affected by if this kind of situation arises. All right, so enough for the talking. I think we should just get going now. And remind you that in the previous steps, we have deleted our resources, mainly the EC2 instance. We ha- we have our IAM user, but we deleted the EC2 instance. The IAM users are free to have, so it won't get you charged. But the EC2 instance we have deleted, so we have to create that once again, and that's actually good for you as well. I will keep that in this video because for that revision as well. So let's open we can also open this blog that I have written, so that we don't forget any of the step. Let's all right, let me make it here so that we can see that as well. Also, let's open another window so that I can wait a second. Let me set it up. All right, now we can see this. We can make this smaller. All right, wait. This is fine. And all right. So let's go to our IAM. Now we are not using root user. We are strictly using IAM user. All right. Because there is a point that we will go through. There's a process like in code artifact when we will try to connect our repository, it will ask the IAM user credentials. So we need to have the IAM user, and it's the best practice. So to use an IAM user and not use a root user. So let's use our URL for the IAM user, and the username was I think IAM admin, and the password is, yeah, this is the password. All right, let's sign in and let's see what do we have here. All right, let me make this okay. So let's go to our EC2 and create one instance, and we are in this process. We will just quickly jump through this process because the detailed video is already up there. All right, so we're gonna go to launch instance. We will name this Next.js server. I think this is the same name that we have given. Let me see. Next.js server. Yes. All right. So let's go with this name. Amazon Linux is fine. We are going with this. T2 micro for the free. And the key pair we already generated, so we don't have to generate it every time. And we're gonna allow the HTTP port, and we're gonna click on launch instance. All right, done. So let's go to our instance and let's select this instance and click on connect, and we are using SSH client. So we're gonna copy this URL. We will go to any terminal. Right now, let's use uh, let's use the VS Code terminal. All right, we don't need this. This is from the previous video. I right now I only need the terminal. You can also use the normal terminal if you want, or maybe if I can just restart. Um, all right. Mm, it is reloading the previous projects, but I don't have these projects. So maybe if I can. All right, close this. So we will go to terminal and new terminal. All right. So we have that copied, the URL. Now we want to go to the downloads folder because my key pair file is in the downloads. So we're gonna go to, let me make this here, right, so that I can see the keyboard. Downloads, and inside the downloads I have that temp file. So now let's paste and let's hit enter. We're gonna do yes, and we see that beautiful bird, right? This means that we have successfully connected to our machine. All right, so let's see the next steps. What are those? If you remember, just comment down below. All right. All right, so we are here. We have connected to the EC2 instance. All right. Yeah, we see this bird. All right. Now we gonna every what are the things I have explained you in the previous video. Whenever you have a new machine, you have to update this. All right, and the command is different for different versions of Linux. Right now I'm using Amazon Linux. The command is different for this, right? If you are using Ubuntu, the command is different. You have to use that apt-get. Here we have to use yum, sudo yum update, and we're gonna click on yes to any prompt. So dash y. So it automatically just write yes to any prompts if there are any. Okay, this is done. The next thing is we have to install like Node.js and npm because our project is developed in Next.js. So we need that npm. We need to type those npm commands so that we can so that we are able to run those npm build and npm run, right? So let's quickly download these. We are downloading node.js and the npm. All right, so let's paste. If you cannot paste, the shortcut is control shift and v. In the ubuntu you can just write you can just control v, but in other linux, for example amazon linux, you need to use control shift v, and for copy you need to use control shift c. All right. Okay, so I think it is done. We have downloaded everything. Now what we want to do is we want to pull our repository, and for that we need git. All right. And for git we need to download. We don't have anything inside our EC2 instance. It's just blank machine. To install git, let's just type this out: sudo yum git, not git, install git. Install git, and we will say yes to any prompt. All right, pretty fast. And it is downloaded. All right. Now we want to clone our repository. So let's go to our GitHub, and we have this project test AWS. And we remember how what we have used in the previous steps. We have used the SSH method to connect to our repository instead of HTTPS. You know the reason, because GitHub actually removed the password authentication. So that's why we have to use SSH. We're gonna copy this one, but we will be having an error here. And if you have watched the previous videos, you exactly know what type of error I'm talking about. So if you try to, so let me, just show you. All right. Let's try to use git clone and this command not found because I have mistyped it. Git clone. Let's see. This key is not known by other names. All right. Let's do yes. And yeah, could not read from remote repository. Permission is denied. This is exactly what we have faced in the previous video. So for this, we have to generate a keygen password, maybe a key, right? A public key, so that we can access. So for that, we have some commands that is this one: ssh s. Oh, so I accidentally pressed Control Shift Copy. This is the Windows machine, so just Control C will work. Here, Control Shift V, and for the mail, I will type my name, not name, the email, monkweb9 at gmail.com. All right, and done. Creating public. All right, file name I don't want to give. Let's just do a blank, enter, and we are here. And how to see that file? Let's go to this file name. We will use a cat here to display the file contents. Let's hit enter, and this is our key. So then we will go to our settings file. And by the way, if you think this is too fast for you, just watch the previous video. I've explained everything. All right. Uh, Go to our SSH and delete this one. This one is the previous key. Well, also, you don't need to create this key every time if you have a permanent machine. Right now, I have this EC2 instance that is a brand new. We have deleted the old instances. So let's create a new SSH key. Title will be um, this one is fine. Let's hit paste. हाँ हाँ ठीक है. Okay, so let's click on add SSH key and use your password. And my password is all right. So SSH key is now added. Let's go to our VS Code once again, and let's try to run the same command again. That was git clone. All right, let's see. All right, and it's done. Let's do an ls here to verify, and if you cannot see, yeah, so let's do an ls, and we have this project. So let's do a cd into this project, and we are inside the project. So now the next steps are we need to we actually want to see that in a tree like structure, right? We don't want to access everything from the terminal. For that, we have already downloaded an extension, and before that, let's just install the dependencies. For that, we will use um npm install. All right, this will download all the dependencies, all the node modules. If you are familiar with the React.js environment or the Next.js environment, you know what are node modules. And if you have the another like Java or that environment, you will probably use the Maven repository, right? I'm not very sure about Java actually, because I usually use React in my projects. All right. And okay, this is done. Let's build our project with npm build. And by the way, we are inside these steps, all right, if you are following that. And we are using npm run build to build the project. All right, pretty fast. Let's wait for a little bit. It won't take very long. All right. Okay, done. So now what we want to do is we have to download the remote SSH the extension. We have already downloaded that in our previous video. So let me make this bigger. All right. Make this smaller, and we will use okay, let me, all right, extensions, and we gonna use our, okay, let me make this smaller so that we can see this icon here. All right, we already have this SSH. We don't want this actually. We want to connect to a new host. For that, we have to click on this one, this arrows, and we, let me make this bigger. Connect to host, add a new SSH host, and inside this we have to paste that EC2 instance URL that we have used. So this one, if you remember, we gonna go to our VS Code and we gonna paste this here. And remember to give correct URL of your downloads folder or wherever your downloads file are. For me, it's inside my home directory and inside the downloads folder. Let's click enter, enter again, open config. All right, we have two config because one is from the previous video. Let's verify which one is ours right now. We have this triple two. So let's verify this is the triple two. This is the latest one. Let's delete this one. All right, let's save, Control S, and let's click on this open a remote window once again, connect to host, and we already have this triple two machine here. Let's click on this, and we will see a new VS Code window pop up. Inside this, we have the Linux environment. We have Amazon Linux, so we're gonna click on the Linux. Whatever machine you have, you can click accordingly. All right. By the way, this up till now is the same thing that we have done in our previous video. All right. So you can, if you want it slow, you can just refer to that video. All right. So let's go to here, open folder, and we gonna click on this folder. Okay, and hopefully we have our project, the whole project that is on the remote server. We have that here in our local machine. All right, this is uh, what we have done in the previous video. All right, so let's verify this by seeing the blog. We have downloaded the extension, and yes, we are seeing the code here. All right, this is the uh, up till now is the previous video part. So right now we are like 20 minutes. All right, so now what we want to do is we gonna use code artifact. So let's go to search and search for AWS code artifact. And by the way, if you are a little bit lazy and you have, by mistake search for, I've made a serious mistake here, typo here, code artifact. And yeah, so when you search for code artifact, okay, so we have this code artifact, and if you are lazy and you didn't write this code here, and by the way, remember this logo, okay? And mm, what happens when you just search for artifact here, AWS artifact? This is different thing, all right? When you click on this, you won't see any button like a create repository. You should see a create repository button. That means that you are not in the correct page, all right? This is the very, very common mistake people make. This is not the code artifact, all right? Remember this thing. You need to search for code artifact, this one, okay? And to verify, you will see a whole pipeline here: code commit, code artifact, build, code deploy, code pipeline. We will cover all of these in our videos, all right? And if you are wondering why we didn't use the code commit, this is because code commit is no longer managed by AWS. It is removed. It won't take new users. All right. So that's why we are not using code commit. We are using Git instead. We are committing and pushing our code using Git. All right. So here we have two stores already. Let's delete this one. These delete. All right, and delete this one as well. Delete. All right, so let's create a repository here. So you can name anything. So for me, let me give it npm store. Repository description, we don't want to give that. Public upstream repositories. So public upstream repositories are actually repositories that connect to your local repository. And for example, you have a Next.js project. So all of your code are managed by npm, right? If you are using, for example, Java, you will probably use a Maven architecture here. So our central repository is npm. So if the code artifact doesn't find the dependencies in our local code, it will go to the central repository, npm in this case, and find that dependencies and then fetch that for us. So let's do, yeah, if you click on it, you will see Maven here. For, I think this is used for Java. Google Android store is also there. npm store for us. If you're using Python, you have this store, and we're going to use npm. Let's hit next, and we're going to use this AWS account. And yes, the domain. So we also have to create one domain. For my for my case, actually it's already created, so I have created that already before this video. So you just need to add a domain and just click on next, nothing else. All right. So domain is a grouping of repositories created in code artifact. Every repository belong to a single domain. All right. So every repository you have, there is a domain assigned to it. Okay. All right. And also, uh, we gonna click on create repository, and if you are documenting this project, you maybe wanna screenshot this screen as well. Let's hit on create repository. And okay, illegal attempt to set a repository as its own upstream npm store repository npm stream. All right. So what did I do? Okay, this I actually named it the same thing. So let's do a my npm. I don't know why my mic is weirdly placed. I am unable to see my keyboard. This is fine, I think. All right, let's click on next here and let's click on create repository. All right, successfully created, and we gonna take a screenshot of this. Windows Shift and S if you are thinking. All right. Okay, this is fine, or maybe this. Yeah, this one is okay. All right, done. So now we have our repository. What we want to do is, let's see the details. View connections instructions, how to connect that to our how to connect our repository to our package manager, the npm package manager. So there are two ways actually. One is the using the Amazon CLI, AWS CLI. Another one is a manual method. So operating system for us is Linux. So for us, the central repository is npm. And let's see, it will automatically show you the methods, all right? So select a configuration method. Recommended method is using AWS CLI. And another method is a manual method, that is push and pull from your repository. In this video, we're gonna use this push to and pull from your repository because CLI is not very highly used. You use different things. You use S3 and various different things for your artifact. So that's why, and this one is relatively easy rather than just configuring CLI. If you click on CLI and you uh, actually, let me show you actually. If you use CLI and if you um, see the instruction, you will feel very overwhelmed. So let me, all right, for Linux, let's see. Unzip the downloaded and this is fine. All right, so command line installer, you want to hit these commands, and then these are some configurations, and you're gonna use this curl command, and the downloaded package is returned to. All right, this specifies the files and it is explaining the name of the file and the downloading process, verification of the integrity. Then you will see these key ID and all of these things, and then download the signature. And for a specific version, you need to do this as well. If if you have some errors, some issues, see the number of steps. So for a beginner, it is very overwhelming. So I thought of using a manual method. So we only have like two steps here: export the code artifact, and then just copy these commands and put it in a specific file. So I think this is easier. So we're gonna do this one. If you have doubts, if you want me to use AWS CLI, just let me know, all right, in the comment section. So what are we doing here actually is we are generating a authorization token, and we can do that from like any shell. We can use our VS Code or any terminal. And for that, we need to first config our code artifact. We need to generate a token before using this command. So if you use, for example, let me show you. If you use this command, um, let's do we can do it in VS Code as well. New terminal, and let's do a Control Shift V. And if we use this, it will give an error. Unable to locate credentials, you can configure credentials by running AWS configure. So for that, we need to configure our AWS first. And if we type AWS configure, let's see what happens. AWS access key ID. Now, if you remember, in the starting of this video, I have told you that you need to use, or you have to use IAM user. You cannot use a root user, right? This is that part. um, if you are using IAM user, you have that access key ID, and if you don't have, we will generate that together, don't worry. So we will generate that access key ID and password and the secret key, not the password, it call it a secret key. All right, so we'll generate that, and we're gonna um, write everything here, and then we will connect our repository. All right, so let's go here, let's go to IAM, let's go to our IAM user. User, let's go to, I think it's in, not in the user. Where was it? Let me find it. Account settings, session tokens. I think it was in, wait a minute. Root access management. Nope. Identity. Nope. 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 Users. I think it was in, not settings. Account settings. I think it's in here. Um, um, External access. I don't think so. It's this. No, 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 no. Policies, not policies. Click on this one. Oh, I think it's in security credentials. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Assign MFA, create access key. Yeah, this one. Um, Access keys are used to send programmatic calls to AWS. Okay, PowerShell. Yeah, I want to create this access key. And how do you want to use it? From the CLI, local code, application running on AWS computer service, so running like Amazon EC2. Yeah, we are using EC2, so I think we need this one. So, and if you are using a CLI, you need to use this one. So let's click on I understand, and let's click on next. Describe a tag value. I don't think we have to give a tag, and it is done. So access key is here. We have copied this. Let's go to our VS Code. Let's paste it. Click enter. Access key is this one. I will copy this, and I will go ahead and paste this. Hit enter. And all right, default region name. What is my region name? It is this one, right? AE Southeast 2. So let's Control Shift C, Control Shift V. Enter. Output format. So it will ask that how do you want the output, like a JSON or whatever. I think for me, I will write a JSON here, and it is done. So the first step is done, and let's go to our maybe I want to click a screenshot here, but I don't want to show this in my documentation. But let's click a screenshot anyways. We will blur this out. All right, this is fine. And we will also click a screenshot here as so well. Okay, done. So now let's go to our this. Now let's use this command. Control Shift V. Will it work? Let's see. All right, nothing is there. This means it worked. All right. Now we will use this copy the configuration into your home directory or project npm rc file. So do we have an npm? Oh, if you can see that, right? Yeah. So it is telling that paste these files into your npm rc file, and if you don't have that file, you just have to create one. All right. So let's see if we have. Let's close this one. Okay. Let's see if we have this file npm rc. Well, haven't created it, so it shouldn't be there. Nope, I don't think we have that. All right, so let's create that into our where into your home directory or your project npm rc file. All right. So in your home directory, we can add it here as well. Home directory or project npm file. So let's do a dot npm rc. Enter. Done. Copy this, paste it here. All right. And I think this is perfect. Let's click save, control S, and and this one is actually done. So let's close this one and view connection status, npm manual method, and we have actually done these steps. What do we do now? I think it's connected successfully. And how to verify that? Okay, now, okay, let's. So there is actually a command we can use. Let's go to our here, and this is the command AWS code artifact login and tool, then npm the repository name and the domain name. So my domain name is my domain, and for the repository I have. Let's see what's the name. Name was, I think, my npm store, right? My npm store. All right, my npm store. Let's hit enter. All right, successfully configured npm to use code artifact. So it is successfully configured. So yeah, and you know what? Our code artifact thing is done now. This was it. This was the whole code artifact setup. Let's click a screenshot here and oh, not like this. Okay, let's click another one to show that this is connected. All right. So how to verify that this is actually connected? And by the way, this is for 12 hours only. So it will automatically expire after 12 hours. So for verification, we can use any commands for npm. We can use like a npm lodash here. So let's use npm install lodash and see if this works. Done. It is working. We have actually, when we reload this page, the code artifact page, we actually see this new repository inside our repository. We see that lodash here. So this means that um our setup is very correct, and actually the repository is successfully connected, and code artifact is running as it should be. All right. So our code artifact setup is done. Now, should we complete the project? Should we do code build, code deploy, code pipeline? Or it's like 35 to 39 minutes? Hmm. Well, let me also click a screenshot first, by the way. Um, all right. So we can go ahead and do that as well. So, but I think it will take more than an hour. So what do we do? Let me take a quick water break and just think about it, and we'll maybe come back to you, or we will end the video here and we will see. All right. Let me come back. All right. All right. So I think we should go ahead and do some more. So let's go to our draw.io picture and let's see. Let's drag it here. All right. So where we are right now, we have created our code artifact. We have attached this. We have we have a GitHub repository. Now we have to do these things. We have to do a code build that will automatically build everything. If there are some changes, it will automatically build. And S3, we are using S3 to store things. So what are we storing here? We are storing the artifacts. Whatever artifacts are generated every time, that are automatically stored in the S3. And then we will use code deployer to deploy the app. And then finally, we will use a cloud formation to automate everything. Okay, so let's generate S3 and code build for now, and then we will think if we should go ahead and do code deploy as well. So let's go to our S3. We will first maybe create an S3 bucket, and then we will connect it to code build. All right, so let's go to our S3. All right. Oh, already we have a bucket. Hmm. This is from one of the previous video that we have done. This bucket is not empty. All right, empty this bucket. I well actually remember that I have deleted this. Why is it here? Strange. All right. I hope it won't. I won't got charged. I didn't got charged. All right. Let's create. Let's exit this. Let's. Okay. So it is deleted, right? Oh, it was just got emptied. Name of the bucket. All right. So Kaggle data and test delete. All right, now it is deleted. Let's click on create bucket option, and what we want to do, general purpose. Yes, general purpose is fine. Let's do a next next JS artifacts. All right, ACL disabled or enabled. If you know these settings, you have watched my video. If you don't know these settings, you have not watched my video. We have created some awesome projects. We have built a chatbot. We have built a visualizer to visualize Spotify data. So we have used S3 a lot in the past. So we're gonna go to enabled, maybe disabled, doesn't matter actually for now. And we also want to make our bucket private. So block all public access is, I think, is okay. We want to make this private. So let's, and also the region. We are in Asia Pacific, Mumbai. And for my store, it is in Sydney. So we have to do it in Sydney. We have to make that once again. Yeah. And store is in Sydney, right? Yeah. Store, the code artifact store is in Sydney. So we have to make bucket in the same region. All right. We will do next. Next JS, and we're gonna do artifact ACL disable, block all public access. All right, bucket versioning. We yeah, I have I have explained what is a bucket versioning in the previous videos. Well, it's just like a Git. It creates a lot of versions of your bucket. If you have changed anything, it will keep a track of your buckets. All right. We don't want to give a tag. Server side encryption is fine. Bucket key is fine. Advanced setting, we don't want to give anything right now. Let's just create a bucket. All right. So bucket. Okay, in uppercase shouldn't be there. All right. So let's do a next.js artifact. All right. Let's now click on create bucket, and it is created. So, what do you want to store in this bucket? We actually want to store a reference to our code build. So, whatever dependencies that are inside our code artifact will automatically come here inside the S3 bucket. So, we actually want to, we have to create a file that is called a build spec.yaml file, and I actually have that file here. Yeah, here. So in this file, what we are doing is we are giving some commands that, code artifact command that we have used to log into your to our code artifact, to connect to our code artifact basically. So we are giving commands like you have to do this. You have to give a correct repository name and the domain name. It will use this command, and it will use the public access key as well, and it will use that npm install to install everything, and then the build command, so it will automatically build everything and the artifacts, right? So, and also it is recursive, so it is continuously running in the background whenever there is a change. So you have to do this exactly. If you're not sure, just generate one using like a tool, for example a chat gpt or something. You can generate this kind of a file. And all right, so we have this file. Now let's upload this into our S3 bucket. And also let's go back and don't forget to take a screenshot. All right, for effective documentation, screenshots are very, very important. We're gonna click, if you cannot see, all right, we're gonna click on upload. We're gonna do add files, downloads, build spec.yaml file, and we're gonna do permissions is okay, properties. I think standard is fine for now. Let's upload. All right, it is done. So the S3 part is done now. Um, yeah, the S3 part is done. Now we will go to our code build. Let's go to our code build and test code. Very effective and very sensible. The phrase is, the short name is, it is um, just giving you exactly what it does: build and test code. Nice. All right, let's create a project here. Project name can be Next.js build, default project, or runner project. All right, default, create a custom code build project. Create a code build managed runner for workflows in GitHub Actions, GitHub, GitLab. Okay. I think we will do a default one. Additional configuration. Well, public access we don't want to give. Source. So we are connecting it with our S3, and bucket will be this one. It automatically fetch the buckets. Object key or S3 object key or S3 folder. Well, we don't have a folder right now. Let's see if this is optional or not. Environment, Amazon Linux. It automatically fetch the environment. Code will Amazon Linux. This is actually correct. Artifacts, Amazon S3. Okay, so for source, let's do Let's do a GitHub because our source code is inside our GitHub repository. You have not connected to our GitHub, so we have to connect it to our GitHub. Let's go to manage account credentials and GitHub app, personal access token, and zero auth app. So, well, we have a personal access. Do we have a personal access token? Um, mm, I don't think so. I think zero auth app. Well, connect projects to GitHub using the app. We don't have that. Connect projects to GitHub using a personal access token. Okay, personal access token. I think this is fine. Connection. Well, existing secret key, new secret key. Okay, we have to generate that. All right. Use code build manage token, GitHub personal access token. We have that GitHub personal access token. We have created that. So did I copy that? I did actually. Um, Let me fetch it. I think this one. This is the token. Save. All right. Looks like we are successfully connected here. Repository. It's not fetching our repositories. Okay, so this means it's not actually connected. Okay, so hmm, it is connecting the S3 seamlessly, no worries here. But the GitHub is not actually it is not showing my repositories here. That means the GitHub is not properly connected. Not if it's not fetching here. Let's use this public repository and just give a URL. So our repository is here. The name is the test AWS and make sure this is recording. Yes, test AWS. We gonna and also what are we doing here? So code build is basically automatically builds. So when you are making a project in a local computer, you have to and you are like um you are deploying it on, for example, Netlify or something. You have to make a build of it. So you have to run npm build for React.js projects. And code build will automatically, you don't have to write code build. Actually, it will automatically does that in the background. And actually, it is asking for a URL because it is asking for a source that where is the file is located. Where do I go and fetch the files, the code files, and the compile them? So that's why it's asking for the source. So let's not S3. Yeah, repository URL we're gonna do here. Source version of not very important right now. All right, so recommended settings is fine. Compute optimize for flexibility. Yeah, actually we don't want to use Lambda for now. We are making this a simple project for as beginner friendly as it can be. If you are using well, we have used Lambda in a previous project separately, but it is used for you when you have to compile or run the code serverlessly. You use a Lambda function. Right now we are just using an EC2. Is It's good for us. Amazon Linux standard. It is automatically fetched all of the EC2 configurations for us. Use a build spec file. So here you can see we have that build spec file, right? So build spec name, it is called build spec.yaml. Build spec.yaml. We can verify that by going to downloads, build spec.yaml. Yes. All right. Artifact that is inside the Amazon S3. and name of the folder or the complex file that will contain your output. So the name is um, build spec dot YML. All right, namespace type, nope. Artifact packaging is okay. Artifact file, okay, that is fine, that is fine. Logs, we don't want to log right now. We will do a separate CloudWatch project. So right now I don't want to log the project. S3 logs is okay if we want to do it, but maybe not. Let's just create a build project and not make this complex. It's already like about, nearly an hour, and many people will lose confidence at this point. Many people are just you like watching is this as a Netflix show or something. So that's why I don't want to explain many internal and in-depth things right now. We're gonna make this simple. All right, so project is created. Let's create click a screenshot. All right, and we can actually start build. Let's click on build. Let's see. Let's test it if it is building or not. It's in progress, and in the meantime, let me drink some water and wait for it to build. Also, you can see it's already 1:19 a.m. So, taking a little bit time here. Let's wait and watch. Mm-hmm. Wait. Hmm. Status is in progress. It is still in the project progress. All right. That's fine. We can wait. Maybe I will fast forward or maybe not. I don't know. Let's see how much time it will take. Mm-mm-mm. And maybe we will um stop this recording um after this code build, or maybe we'll go and use code deploy as well. So build is failed. Huh. And we actually disabled the watch, the cloud watch and the logs. So is there any reports? Nope. env build details. Well, we have the hmm build spec.yaml file is already there. We have uploaded that, right? Yep, we did. First is inside the S3, we don't have to upload this build.yaml file. We have to include that into a project. This will automatically populates when we push that changes when we build the project. So we don't want this bucket. We will empty this bucket and we will add that build spec.yaml file inside our code. Okay, so bucket is emptied. Now let's delete the bucket. Okay. The bucket has been deleted. Oh no, actually, you don't have to delete the bucket. You have to create a bucket, but you have to delete everything what's inside the bucket. So I forgot to do that. All right. So let's create one more bucket. The bucket name will be, let's do a code build, or maybe code artifact, or artifact bucket is fine. Artifact bucket, and everything is fine. Let's create a bucket. Oh my god, my bad. Made some huge mistakes today. All right, bucket, same name already exists. All right, let's do a my artifact bucket. Bucket 2. Mm, okay, let's do a code artifact bucket. Nope. All right, artifact bucket 1, 2. Wow. So let's do a code or my artifact bucket monkweb. So S3 buckets names are globally unique. All right, that's why that error was coming. Okay, bucket is created. Now let's go to our build and edit this build settings. Let's edit this. So we have to change the S3 name. So in here, use a build spec file, build spec.yaml. All right, Amazon S3. No, yes, this one. Name build spec.yaml. Um, let's do name inside the naming here. We want to actually output everything into a zip file. So let's do a build logs.zip. So we want that build to package everything as a zip and not as a single files every time. And also this build spec.yaml is optional. You can give if you want. And let's just empty it. Build logs.zip is fine, and we're gonna hit that zip. And also we will use a CloudWatch as well. Group name. So let's do a Next.js build. Next.js build. Stream name prefix. This is optional. So let's do a, yeah, this is basically optional. So let's leave this as it is. And CloudWatch logs are there. So if it fails, now we know that what went wrong. All right, let's do update. Now everything is good. What we want to do is now, next artifact AWS build does not exist. All right, so bucket is this one. Path prefix is, or okay, I think. Okay, so now the build is created. Okay, now we want to go to our um build spec.yaml file, and we're gonna edit some things here. Our base directory is built, that is, we gonna remove this discard part because our base directory already the build. We are not using any extra things that is not needed. Post build commands, this is good, and we gonna copy this, and we gonna go to our project, and not here, inside our project we gonna use this. Inside the root directory we gonna use, here we will generate a build spec dot YAML file and build spec.yaml, and we're gonna paste that here and not in the S3. It will automatically generate that for us into the bucket. All right. And npm my npm store is fine. Domain name is fine. And S3 my Next.js artifacts. All right. I think this is good for now. And also one more very important thing is all of your code, the updated code, that is the build spec.yaml file and the npm rc file that is inside our local the EC2 instance. And the build is fetching from our GitHub repository. So we have to push these changes to the GitHub as well. All right, that is very important. So let's do a git add all, then git commit, and message will be updated the npm.rc and the build spec. All right, and we're gonna do git push origin main. All right, now let's go to our GitHub and verify that these changes are there in the repository. Test AWS and updated the npm rc and build spec. All right, the changes are here. So now let's try to build again, and we will use the CloudWatch service if something bad happens. Let's do a start build. All right. Now let's wait and see what will go wrong now, and we will fix that together. Okay. Hmm. Taking its time. Logs are here. It is trying to log in, and there is some issue. Yeah, there is some issue here. While executing command AWS code artifact login, and this. There is some exit status. All right. All right. So when it tried to, the command did not exit successfully. Oh, okay. So when calling the get authorization token user this build service, it is not authorized to perform. Okay. Southeast 2, no identity based policy allow the code artifact get authorized. All right, so there is some issue in the policy. Let's try to fix this. So I think there is we can see that there is some permission issue. So for permissions, we go to our, and I make sure this is recording. Yeah. All right. So let's go to IAM to handle those permissions. And let's go to roles, and then let's use the name of the, what was it? Oops, not here. Let's reload, and the role was, let me see, Next.js. Yeah, this one. Let's click on this, and let's add permissions, create inline policy, and let me create a policy here. There are a lot of mistakes actually. So let's paste here. Okay, so it is now allowing the authorization token. So code artifact and the code build is now have the code build has permission to access the token generated from the code artifact. This was a problem. The token was generated from the code artifact, and the code build was unable to fetch it. Now it should be good actually. Next, and create the policy. Policy name, let's do um let's do a code code auth create. All right. Now also, now let's try to um let's go to code build, and let's try to generate the build again. And let's see if now it happens or not. Hmm. Let's wait for the logs to generate and see now what happens. All right, error occurred again, access denied, exception failed again. All right. Command did not exit successfully. Code artifact tool. All right. Domain exit status. Hmm. Face context status code error while executing. Is that it's the same thing, I think. No identity based policy allow the get service bearer token action. Okay, I think so. The issue here is looks like there is one more role to be added. It is unable to what is the error? Yeah, here get authorization token operation. When calling this, though there is access denied. All right, so let's go to our code. Let's go to IAM roles. Also, let's update this name. This is not looking very professional. Hmm. All right, loading. Okay, in here we have defined get authorization and read from repository. All right, let's also add one more here. This one. This is the service bearer token that we need. So you can see it here, the service bearer token. This is the error. So we have now added that. So let's go to save changes, saving the changes. All right, now let's go to our build, and now let's retry the build. Lot of errors today, and there are good actually. You learn some things from errors. So very important things actually. So let's see now what happens. And tonight is the errors night. We will solve every error come in our way. Again, one more error is there. Failed, right? Yeah. Now what happens? Let's see. Not authorized to perform. All right. Get repository endpoint. Okay. Hmm. The below this is the same. Get repository endpoint operation. All right. This one. Now, so it is looking like there is some one more policy that we need to add. That is the which was that? The get repository. Yeah, this one. The get repository endpoint. So let's go to our yeah the code auth again, and let's add this policy once again. Not once again. Let's add another permission here, and let's go to hit next, and save the changes. All right. Oh, okay. Now let's go to retry the build and let's see now which permission it needs. So a lot of secure things are there. It's not very easy actually. And yes, we when we go to cloud formation and we automate everything, then also I think this process will be a lot more seamless. Let's see. I think we will call it a night after this. Oh, again. Commit did not exit. Okay. Now what happened? Hmm. All right. So the authorization is done. Running command npm install. All right. Now there is an error. So I think this things can be multiple. There can be multiple reasons why this error came. Maybe there is some issue in our npm rc file. So let's go to our build spec and let's try to update this. Now we are using cat npm, so npm rc. So if it prints something, if it prints the contents of the npm rc file correctly, then we will be verified that it is working. And also if the token is invalid anyhow, it will also get that token here as well. So it if it prints the token, we will be verified that the token is working and it's not expired or not invalid. So let's not here actually. We gonna paste this to our code. And also if you don't want to go and just commit everything, we can directly go to our GitHub. Let's close this one. Let's directly go to our GitHub build spec file and let's try to edit this. And here let's try to just paste and commit the changes. This will be a lot simpler. Let's commit to the main branch, right? It is committed now, and now let's go to our deployment once again. Not deployment, the build once again. Let's try to build one more time and see what we get in the screen on the screen. Then we will resolve the error. Okay. Of course, it will fail, but we will get that why it is failing. We will exactly see that if the token is expired or invalid, or there is some issue with the npm rc file. Let's see, running the command and then now it will fail. All right. Hmm. Okay, so it is failed. Now let's see. Running the command cat. All right. Up till here, everything is fine. Now running the command cat npm rc. Now what is it printing? In our npm rc file, it should print the exact contents that are these two lines that we have added. So this my domain and this one. So my domain and this file is there. This line is there. All right. So this is running. It seems like. Oh, I think this. Huh. And auth token is also there. Hmm. After that, npm install is failing. Maybe we can do a manual method and try to do everything by manual. So let's do these commands if this works or not. All right, this is working actually. So there is some issue in that side. Hmm. Let's try to debug this and use edit our code, copy and update. Here I am ensuring that the token generated from the locally, and here it is the same because it is working locally, so that means, and also it is giving me that the token is not matching, so there is some error in there, so I have updated this. Now now let's once more try to see, try to build, reload, and let's try to build again, and let's see now. Taking some time. No build cache found. All right. All right. All right. Looks like it's doing its job. Succeeded. Oh, it is succeeded here. It is succeeded here. No matching. Okay. It succeeded here. All right. Now what's happening? Succeeded. Oh my God. The relief. The relief. Oh my God. Let's quickly screenshot this one, man. It took me a long time to pause the video again and again and try to research what's happening and try to, running everything locally, checking the files and everything. And finally, oh my God. Wow, this was a task. So it is now succeeded. Everything is fine. So the main two problems were, one, the policies. Let's take a screenshot of this as well. And I will add that uh, to the blog so that you don't miss this. And the second problem was the YAML file. This is the correct YAML file. And if you want this, well, my project is actually hosted publicly on GitHub, so you can directly go there and just take that yourself. All right. And for verification or for documentation, I'm just, doing this so that just for the sake of documentation. All right. And this is done now. The building is done. Oh my God. It took me a long time. Now let's call this a night. It's like, what is it? Almost 3 a.m. So in the next video, maybe you will see that in the same video, maybe, or maybe I'll make two separate videos for this. We will let's go to our diagram. The S3 code build is done. We will use code deploy, cloud formation. We will do that in the next video. And for the deletion, what we want to delete is, first we will delete our let's see, first we will delete our EC2 instance. So let's delete that. Let's go to our EC2. instances, and let's delete this instance. Delete, and let's delete our S3 bucket as well. Let's go to S3 and delete this. Before deleting it, let me take my screenshot. And now let's delete. Actually, it is empty. Oh, also one more thing. One more thing. Let us verify that it if something is there in the bucket, because if we are building, it should automatically the folder, the zip file should automatically populate here. I forgot to verify that. So let's click on the S3 bucket and boom, everything is here. Oh my God. Zip files are here. Even though I think our setup failed several times, the zip file was created every time. So, wow. So this is also verified now. So let's take a screenshot here as well. Let's take the let's take the most recent one, right? Let's take something like this. This is fine, I think. All right. Now let's try to. Thank God I remember this to show you. All right. Now let's go back. Let's try to empty this bucket. Permanently delete. Let's copy this, paste empty, and let's exit and let's delete this bucket. All right. Such a long name. Let's type, not type. Let's copy paste this and delete bucket. All right, bucket is deleted. Our EC2 instance is deleted, and I think for the rest everything is fine. Build. Should we delete the build or not? Let's do that. All right, let's do that. Our build as well. Build projects. Next.js build. And did I create it as click the screenshot? If not, let's do. And then let's actions delete. Oh, oh, sorry. We have to type delete here. Let's delete. And our VS Code is actually try to connect, but EC2 instance is no longer there, so we don't need to connect actually. Let's just close these and dismiss actually. We don't need this. All right, this is deleted. We don't need to delete our artifact. We don't need to delete our IAM, so that are free to use. And my dear friends, it was an intense one. All right. And I'm glad that we figured our way out and we have successfully built the project. In the next video, we will actually revise everything once again in one go. And then we also use the cloud formation as well. We will use code deploy as well. And hopefully we will do that under 1 hour. I know this video is very, very long. So, but it was worth it. We saw a lot of error and we saw how to actually update our YAML file and what could be the potential issues when your build fails. That's a good thing. Okay. So please like the video. All right. And subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Till then, keep learning. All right. So, bye bye.